Hey, Field.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a game?
No.
But I built this contraption. You just got to go in it. It's real good. It's like a puzzle.
Hard pass.
Fine. You never want to do what I want to do. We're talking Spiral.
From the Book of Saw, wherever that book may be. Welcome back to Now Renting with Forgotten Cinema. And yes, we are talking about the movie Spiral from the Book of Saw. Before we get into our 3 reasons each why we think you should rent this movie on row8.com, Mike, what is Spiral about?
Chris Rock plays an honest detective hunting down a serial killer, hunting down dirty cops using torture devices similar to the Jigsaw serial killer. As Chris Rock gets closer to the killer, more and more cops' bodies start piling up, and Chris Rock finds that it may be related to something about a past case of his own.
So now you don't necessarily need to see the 48 other Saw movies that came out before this.
There were 49 Saw movies.
Oh, we joke. But Mike, what is your first reason why people should watch this movie?
Chris Rock.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting that Chris Rock came up with the idea for this story. He didn't write the screenplay, but he did come up with the idea of the story. He's apparently a huge Saw fan and ended up starring in this movie, which that was one of the first things that interested me about this film. Having not seen all 49 of the films and kind of dropped off after a while, it interested me to see, an actor and comedian like Chris Rock want to do this film. And I think he does a decent job and makes it's definitely a different kind of Saw film.
Yeah, that's my number one reason, is that it's not really a horror film. I don't think this is a horror film. I think it's more of a thriller. So people maybe who don't like horror films, who are kind of like hesitant to watch this movie, that's not what you're going to get. You are going to get some stuff from the Saw series, but it's kind of its own movie. It's definitely a thriller film. It's got elements of horror, but it's not a straight up horror movie like most of the other Saw films. If perhaps somebody is not interested in that. What's your number 2?
Jumping off of that, my number 2 is the fact that it is a mystery. It's not, like you said, it's not necessarily centered around the contraptions, although like they're there and they're gross. But it is a mystery, and it's a cop film, kind of first and foremost, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, my number 2 is the actual contraptions themselves. I guess that's the best word for them. They're not really, I was gonna say experiments, but no, they are gory. They are a little bloody, but they're interesting. I mean, they're always interesting. I think that's why people like watching these movies. I don't know if I would say that this is better or worse than some of the other ones you've seen in the series, but the contraptions do make it an interesting kind of dilemma when they're faced with that.
You gotta always love the traps. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the look of the film, the color of the film. There's very distinct color palette of reds and blues in this film, and they kind of, that's kind of like police sirens, and B, it also kind of represents both being out on the street and being in the world of the Jigsaw copycat possible killer. And the 2 different worlds that the movie inhabits. And I thought that was a really cool way to splice up the film.
Yeah, my number 3 is the same thing, the look of the film. It's very hot. It feels just very sweaty and hot. And you could just feel the heat from the film as you're watching it. And I think that definitely is a testament to the color palette of the movie. So indeed. Mike, what about us? What's our color palette?
Our color palette is purple.
It is. So who are we?
We are Forgotten Cinema, a podcast about forgotten films that seem to be forgotten by audiences, whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the movie, maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. You never know, you might find your own forgotten gem. We are available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, anywhere, and ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com as well.
So if you are on row 8 right now, or maybe you're not on row 8, head on over there and rent Spiral from the Book of Saw. You actually can find us, Forgotten Cinema. We have our own little page there. It is buried in the all movies section. So just go down there, click on that, then click the rent/buy button that's underneath our little video. And then we get a little bit of a compensation factor for you.
I like getting a little piece of the action.
Yes, exactly. Very little. No, that's not a complaint. That's just, we're just joking. But anyways, head on over to row 8. That's all I got. I hope you enjoy the movie. I hope we kind of helped you in some way. This has been Now Renting with Forgotten Cinema, brought to you by row 8.